It's because he knows that God has something good in store. As the song says, I just feel like something good is about to happen. I just feel like something good is on its way. Amen. He has promised that he'd open all of heaven. And brother, this could be that very day when God's people humble themselves and call on Jesus and look to heaven expecting as we pray, I just feel like something good is about to happen. And brother, this could be that very day. Hallelujah. I believe God's got something good in store for us here at Sound of Truth Radio. And I don't refer to fortune or fame. I'm talking about a move of God. I mean, that's what we want here on Sound of Truth Radio. We want a move of God. We want to see souls saved. We want to see lives change. We want to see addicts set free. We want to see people, Christians, learn how to walk in victory. And we want to see unbelievers become believers. We need to see that. Help us, Father God. Help us, O Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I feel the Spirit right now. That's what we want to see. That's what we need to see. A move of God. A move of the Holy Spirit. A revival. Revival for the church and a harvest of the lost souls. That's what we want to see here on Sound of Truth Radio. And that's the ends that we are attempting to work towards. That's what we are trying to do. But there's some hindrances. And I'm telling you this about and if you're watching right now and you see me looking over, typing stuff, I'm trying to fix some stuff right now. And it's not stuff like, oh, he could just fix it later. I'm trying to fix our streams so more people can see this Radiothon hour. Between this computer messing up and everything else that we've had to deal with, it sure feels like a lot of attacks. But again, I think that's because the devil knows that God has something good in store. I'm not quitting. Amen. I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to let this discourage me because I know my Lord is going to lead me out. I know the God that I serve. The other day at Truth Chapel, we played the song from Sister Terramont Pettit. My goodness, and now I kind of know the lyrics now. I'm forgetting exactly what the lyrics were. It says something to this effect: He's my rock. I got it now. He's my rock. On the solid rock I'll stand. And I tell you, I felt the Spirit of God as we played her singing that song. Jesus is our rock. He has been good to Sound of Truth Radio for 11 years now, and he's not going to stop being good to us now as long as we keep our faith in him and keep yielding and surrendering to him. So I'm believing God's got good things in store for Sound of Truth Radio. I've been, behind the scenes working on some stuff, and I really do think that there's some good things in store for this radio station. But we need you to be a part of it. I'm talking about our listeners. I'm talking about people who support the mission of this radio station. You agree with it. You agree with what we preach, what we teach, and you want this message to be taken to Spartanburg. You want this message to be on the airwaves. You want it there. I think there's a lot of people who want this message on the radio. I don't mean that everybody in Spartanburg is going to like this radio station. Obviously, no. When you preach the truth, you're going to offend people. Excuse me. When you tell the truth, there will be people offended. So I'm not saying that everybody in Spartanburg wants Sound of Truth Radio. But I've got a feeling that there's more of you that want the station to be on the air than there are those who are actually donating to that end. See, for us to stay on the air and keep doing what we're doing, I'm not trying to threaten like a shutdown in the next day or anything like that, but I'll put it to you this way. I don't know how long the station can go on without receiving the listener support that it needs to pay our bills. Now, no, not to get me a salary, not to get anybody money, I'm trying to think of, other things people complain about with preachers. None of this is going to buy anybody a jet or a yacht or even a tiny fishing boat. Nothing. It is nothing. This is not going to anybody's personal account. This is money that we need to pay the radio station's bills. Very simple, very straightforward. It's as simple as lease and internet and phone and electricity and those small things needed for the station, and they add up to about $1,500 each month. That's what we're here raising money for tonight. And I think there's some of you that you want this station to stay on the air. You appreciate Sound of Truth Radio. You want us to keep doing what we're doing, but you don't want to give to help us meet that end, to help us to stay on the air. You just want it to happen automatically. You want it to happen without you having to be involved. You want it to happen without you having to put a personal stake in it. You just want it automatically, magically. Sound of Truth Radio is going to stay on the air, and it's going to be all fine and dandy without you helping any. Now, I'm not trying to say that every single person needs to help. That's between you and God. But I do think that if it is important to you that Sound of Truth Radio stays on the air, and this message keeps going forth over the airwaves on 92.1 FM, online, everywhere that we reach with this radio station, if that is important to you, and I think it is important to some of you, I hope that you would consider giving to that end. I hope you would consider doing that, because we need your support. We don't sell any airtime. Nobody buys their way onto Sound of Truth Radio. Everyone is invited. Why do you do it that way? Why are you so exclusive? And the reason everyone is invited instead of paying their way to be on here is because that allows us to only invite people who we believe are preaching and teaching the same way that we do. Now, some would say, oh, that sounds like a cult. You don't want any differences of opinion. It's not like that. The point is, we don't want there to be any confusion. We don't want this to be a station, if you listen to the program at 9 a.m. versus 6 p.m., you get two totally different points of view. And I know some of you are like, well, I can handle different points of view. I can, listen to both, and I can figure out which one I agree with the most. And you're right, you probably can. But for some people, it's confusing. It's confusing. We take our job very seriously. We take the concept of being shepherds of a flock very seriously, and we believe it's very important to not confuse, especially baby Christians, those who have just gotten saved, to not confuse them by bombarding them with 1,000 different doctrines that half of which aren't even biblical. Ouch. I know some of you are thinking, well, you don't need to say other doctrines aren't biblical, just say you disagree with them. But the reason I disagree with them is because they're not biblical. So instead of confusing people, we only invite people to be on this station who we believe preach it right. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with them on every single little jot and tittle, but on the main points, they are in line with us, and we don't believe they're going to be bringing confusion to Sound of Truth Radio. I'm sorry, that's just how we do it. So nobody can buy their way onto this station. We don't even do that. We don't offer slots for people to purchase. We don't run commercials. We don't believe in commercializing the gospel. I don't want to see that happen. It would be extremely profitable, y'all. I mean, we could get some deals and start making some money and never have to ask you for another penny. But we believe when you start doing that, it gets you the mindset. And I'm not trying to criticize those who do that, but firstly, we're a non-profit radio station anyway. I'm not sure we could even do it with FCC regulation. But if we did, it gives us the mindset, I think, of, well, I've got to be careful what I say because I don't want to make the advertisers mad. I don't want to upset the advertisers, and they might pull their funding from the station. We just want to preach the truth. And we believe that the method of funding Sound of Truth Radio that is most conducive to integrity and to allowing us to preach and teach the truth, not what people want to hear, but the truth, is by asking for help and support, not from big businesses, not from people who run commercials, not by selling airtime to our preachers, but to ask for help from those who already agree with the station, and you agree with our mission, and you're not looking to change what we preach and teach because you agree with it. You agree with it, and when you donate, it's not so you can wield influence, but it's so that you can invest in the work that is already being done. We reach out to you, and this is an opportunity for you. I think I said it this way last month. This is an opportunity for you to be a part of something bigger than yourself, which isn't to claim that you aren't already a part of something bigger than yourself. If you're born again, you're a child of God. You are a part of the body of Christ. You are already a part of something bigger than yourself. By helping us out here on Sound of Truth Radio today, it's another chance. Just trying to drink some water. Another chance for you to contribute to a cause, to give to something bigger than you, to put your money into something that can reach some places that you cannot. Now, you can reach some places that Sound of Truth Radio cannot. There are people that you can get to with the gospel who, they don't listen to the radio. They don't scan stations, right? They're never going to find Sound of Truth Radio. You can reach them. At the same time, there are people who will somehow find Sound of Truth Radio, who will find 92.1 FM, who you'll never meet. So your ministry is important. Your witnessing, you doing what you do for the cause of Christ is important. And I'm not trying to say we are more important. Nope, what you do is important. And what we do is also, I didn't say more, what we do is also important. There are people who you can reach that I can't, that even Sound of Truth Radio can. And there are people that this radio station can reach that you personally can't, that I personally can't, that none of us personally can. We don't know how many people. Excuse me. We don't know how many people may have possibly heard a salvation message on Sound of Truth Radio right before they died. We don't know. We won't find out until heaven. There's no way of knowing. There's no true way of knowing what impact Sound of Truth Radio has had on Spartanburg, on the world, until we get to heaven. So this is a chance for you to donate, to give to something a little bit bigger than yourself. Not saying better than you. I'm not saying that we're so much more important, but something that can reach people that you can't, that can spread to places that maybe you'll never go. This station can go directly into cars and homes that you'll never be invited in, but they'll turn on Sound of Truth Radio, and through this station they can hear the message of the cross. I shudder to think what would happen to this frequency if we had to shut down. I guess it would probably stay, I don't know if this is the right word, empty, but it'd have nothing on it, probably for a while. But to think one day 92.1 could just be like every other station, rock and roll, classics, pop, hip-hop, rap, whatever garbage people want to listen to, country music. Folks, the world doesn't need more of that. We've had enough. If there is never, ever another secular song written, we're not missing out on anything. If there is never another pop song or rap song or country music song, if another one of those is never, ever written, big loss, right? I mean, I know some of y'all may be a little bit offended by that, but let's be real here. We've had enough. We've had the secular music for, maybe you could say forever, but I think this kind of music culture that we have today has been since, I kind of feel like the 50s. And, maybe I'm wrong with saying that. I know there was non-Christian music even before the 50s, but 50s, there's a real transition in the sound with the rise of rock and roll. But anyway, whenever you pinpoint the start of it, this music culture that we have, I'm just going to be honest, we don't need anymore. We've got enough. We have had enough secular songs. We have had enough of people tickling our ears. We have had enough of the deception. We have had enough of the burying our heads in the sand, pretending that God isn't real, and drowning ourselves in the pleasures or in the sorrows of this world, as some of these secular songs are all about how depressed we are. But we drown ourselves in the things of this world or in our love for ourselves, and we pretend that there is no God. We pretend there is no God, and we've had enough of it. We've had enough. We have suffered enough under the dominion of secularism, under the dominion of secular society. We need God in America again. We need God in Spartanburg again. We need God in the public sphere again. We need a move of God. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Sound of Truth Radio is single-handedly going to bring about a move of God. For there to be a move of God, we got to have people, hearts and souls that are hungry for Him. And I'm also not claiming we're the only ones who are going to bring a move of God. Man, there are others. There are others who believe in God and who are hungry and searching for revival. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not claiming we're the only ones or that nobody else is on our side or it's just us or anything like that. But I do think what we're doing is important. And I think it warrants support from like-minded believers, from Christians who feel the same way as us about what this world needs, about what America needs, about this move of God, that we don't just want it, y'all, we need it. And those who feel the same way that we do about it, We need your help. We need some like-minded believers to help us out today. We have $1,500 in expenses that have got to be paid this month. During some previous months, we raised money to pay. It's been $1,500 a month since, I guess, September, October. Excuse me. Keep sneezing and coughing tonight. It used to be $2,000 a month, actually. But when we moved locations, we were able to save money on studio rent. We used to have to lease the upstairs of the building that we had for our radio studio. But now we've moved into a building that we own. It's a lot smaller. If any of you watch Radiothon, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm literally in a broom closet. I think I said it last month. I've got 3 brooms in front of me right now. You can't see them on camera, but there are 3 brooms sitting right behind the camera. There's a vacuum right beneath the camera, and there's another vacuum behind that red curtain. So I am sitting here in a broom closet, but it saved us $500 a month. And I hope someday we'll have a proper studio and we can do some interviews in it again, panel discussions, things like that. But for right now, we're in a closet, but that's okay. It's saved us $500 a month. Our bills are now $1,500 each month. However, these last several months of Radiothon, we have not raised the $1,500 each month. And so the station is running a deficit now. I hate to say that. It's almost embarrassing to me. I like to complain about the government being in debt, and here I am, my radio station in debt. I hate to admit it, but it's the truth. We have a deficit of about $4,000. Excuse me. Now, none of that is because of because of poor spending habits. The issue is poor fundraising. The issue, excuse me, I got to get a drink of water. My throat is so dry. The issue, I know that's unprofessional, I'm sorry. The issue is that the last several months of Radiothon, we've just not had enough money come in to cover every bill. We have not been increasing our bills. We've not been spending money places where it's not supposed to be spent. We've been paying our bills, or at least trying to, but we keep running into shortfalls where we don't even get to pay our bills all the way. And that can't go on much longer before we're going to get into trouble. Can't go on for too long. If you listen to Radiothon every month, excuse me, we announce on here on Radiothon every dollar that is earned. There's not secret extra money. Sometimes a little bit, a few more donations come in later in the month that we don't get to announce, but it's not like secretly we've got $2,000 sitting there in an account. We've got nothing sitting in the account. We are always, as soon as the money comes in to pay the radio bills, it goes out to pay the radio bills. So no secret money, no secret funds or hidden accounts. We try to be transparent with you, which is a hard thing to do because when you get transparent about things, people want to criticize it and say, well, you should be doing this different, that different. Here's a transparent truth. It costs $1,500 a month to keep the station on the air. We've been raising like $1,000 a month for several months now. $500 a month starts to add up. I think even back when we were needing $2,000 each month, we were running shortfalls, and all those shortfalls and deficits add up over several months to where we are now about $4,000 in debt. For example, last month, we almost raised the amount that we needed to fully pay our bills, but we came up $115 short. I'll be honest, I was so disappointed to see that because it was so close, so far. We were just $115 shy. I really, we closed out Radiothon last month not having raised a total, but I really thought that some more money would come in over the month, that some more people would give, and I really thought we would hit the goal last month, but we didn't. We did not. We came $115 short. So last month we had I think 3,888 was the official number that we needed for the debt. Well, now that number's at 4,103. And it keeps growing as long as we keep running deficits. Now, if this month we can finally not run a deficit, that debt won't grow. And if we can run a surplus, it won't really be a surplus, as it will immediately go to paying back that debt. I'm going to tell you how you can give, but first, one more issue. We also have some maintenance fees that need to be paid, and we have also, as I said already tonight, we have had some serious issues with our video computer. This computer runs our Facebook stream, our Roku channel, run by this computer, our YouTube channel. Pretty much all of our online outreach comes from this computer. Now, the FM station is not reliant on this computer, so we can stay on the FM, but to the dozens, if not hundreds of people who listen to us online, it's dependent on this computer functioning. And it's been acting up today. It looks like it's working right now, praise God, but we have had several issues with it today. I'll be honest, it's been running kind of slowly for months now, but today it feels like it's about to give out. And if we end up having to replace this computer, which I hope doesn't happen, I'm not saying for sure that it will happen, but it's looking likely. And I know that maybe doesn't sound like I have faith, but I'm just being realistic. Okay, like your doctor, Dr. Ian, it's looking likely. I'll just be honest, as the station's doctor, if you will, my diagnosis for this computer is not very good. And it may very well need to be replaced, and if that's the case, it could cost 4 digits. I hope not. I hope we could find a replacement that's cheaper than that. But to get a computer that has the speed that it needs to have, this memory that it needs to have to operate everything we need it to operate, I'm not sure. I hope we can get it for just 3 digits, but I don't know that for sure. Haven't price checked yet, because we frankly don't have any money to spend. Like, I don't even have $5 to spend on a new computer right now. The radio station is literally in debt, so we don't have any extra money right now to buy a computer, let alone to buy a 4-figure computer. So we really need some support this month. I'm trying to tell you that we need it now. I don't want to say more than ever, because we probably needed help the most when we were first getting started, because it took thousands to jumpstart everything. So I don't want to say now more than ever, but I feel a little bit more desperate than I did last month. How about I say it that way? I'm feeling more desperate than I did the month before. I mean, we have some things breathing down our necks. And I'm talking about like equipment that needs to be repaired, upgraded. I'm talking about this video computer that seems like it's about to bust. I'm talking about this $4,000 of debt that just keeps accumulating. And yes, you can help us with this. I'm not talking about our bad financial management. I'm talking about that some people have been slack in giving. And I hope that this month you'll consider changing that. I hope this month you'll consider donating. Donating to Sound of Truth Radio, and any amount helps, small or large. As you can tell, we've got some big expenses. I'll repeat again, our regular goal, our regular monthly bills is just $1,500 a month. If somehow this month we were able to buy that new computer, assuming that's what we're going to need, repair everything that needs repairing, pay our debt, pay our maintenance. But if we could do all of that in the month of May, then next month, the total that we need should be just $1,500, and that's it. So $1,500 is the standard we need each month, and normally, if we can raise $1,500 a month, that's going to be it. That's all that we need recovered. I'm not going to ask you for more. But this month, I am asking for more, because we've just got a lot weighing down on us. And we need some help. We need some people to pitch in. We need some people to help out. And I think that there are enough of you listening that if you just give what God tells you to, and I leave the amount between you and him. I know there are preachers who they'll get it, but they'll say, if you'll give this much money, God will do this and that for you. Look, that's just, I'm sorry, but most of those people are lying. I say most because I'm not going to discount that there might be a chance that maybe God told somebody to say, if you give such and such money, but if that ever does happen, it's very rare. Most of those people are lying. They're lying. How could you say that? Man, look at their doctrine. Look at what they preach and teach. It doesn't even line up with the Bible. I'm a Pentecostal. I believe in miracles. I believe in faith. I believe in healing. There's a lot with those kind of charismatic word of faith preachers. Sounds crazy to say, but there are things that I have in common with them in terms of theology. But there's also a lot that they get wrong. They're also very off course on a lot of things, particularly when they're telling people, give me $3,000 and the Lord will heal your child. Yeah, there's a problem there. I'm not going to tell you a specific amount. I'm not going to promise you that if you'll give, God will do this and this and this for you, because the Lord has not said any of that to me. And most people who claim that God has said that to them, they're lying. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not giving you false promises. Here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to donate whatever amount God lays on your heart. And here's what I'm telling you will happen. Now, I can't promise you give this much, your house is going to be paid off. But what I can tell you is that if you give to Sound of Truth Radio, we will use every penny for the gospel. That is all that we do. That is our business, is preaching the gospel, preaching the message of the cross. We will use every penny to pay off our bills. If we get enough, if enough of you give, we'll upgrade equipment to help this station stay on the air, to help our Facebook and Roku and YouTube streams stay on the air, to keep our website functional, to keep everything running. Literally, if we keep running out of money, things are going to start falling apart. If you give, it is going to go to keep this work sustained. And I hope someday we'll feel like we're not just surviving on Sound of Truth Radio, but we'll feel like we're thriving. We've been surviving probably for the past 5 years, just surviving, just trying to get enough money to pay the bills. But I hope someday the surpluses are big enough we can thrive. And I don't mean that I can take home the money with me. What I mean by thriving is we can invest that money into better equipment. We can invest the money into things to make the station better, to make it more secure. I could think of thousands of dollars worth of projects that, frankly, the station needs. Some upgrades to our transmitter site, some things that will prevent the chances of the station, suffering injury from storms in the future. I've got tons of things in mind that I could do for Sound of Truth Radio, or I could hire someone to do, but we just don't have the funds. And I hope someday we'll go from surviving to thriving. And if that's going to happen, we are going to need some help from you. So if you are feeling led to donate to Sound of Truth Radio today, and I hope that somebody is, and again, what you give is between you and the Lord. I'm not here today to lecture you on certain amounts. I'm here just to tell you we need help. Pray about being a part of that. So if you feel led to give today, please go to our website. That is wxpsfm.com. That's WX as in X-ray, PS as in Sierra, FM.com. WXPSFM.com. And if you click on the donate button on that website, it will take you to our PayPal, safely and securely, WXPSFM.com. Or you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, GIVE, to 864-507-9382. Again, you can also text the word GIVE to 864-507-9382. 9382, and that is an automated texting system. Just text the word GIVE, and the system will prompt you for the rest of the information that it needs to process your donation. You may also mail a check or a money order to Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. That is Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. And please make that check out to Truth Chapel. But if you can put on there that it's for the coughing and sneezing tonight, my goodness, it's this change in weather, y'all. The other day while at work, my nose just started gushing with blood. So I just got weak sinuses or whatever it is, and I just get agitated this time of year. So sorry for all the sneezing and coughing this evening. Anyway, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. Make it out to Truth Chapel, but for Sound of Truth Radio. To Truth Chapel, but for Sound of Truth Radio. You may also come see us in person. We are located at 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg. That's 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we would love to have you join us for one of our services. We have services. Firstly, we'll have a service tonight, 7 p.m. this evening. And again, our address is 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg. Come join us for a prayer meeting tonight. Tonight we will be gathering our church people together, as many of them as can or want to come, just to pray. If you have a need in your life, if you have something that you're going through and you just need some fellow believers to pray about it, come to prayer meeting. I don't care what the need is. I don't care what the situation, how good, how bad. Just come And the prayer meeting is not streamed online. We don't stream it on the radio or anything like that. It's private, just for those that attend in person, I should say. So come to prayer meeting. We always start with a little bit of worship and a brief devotional, and then we open it up. We open the floor up, and if you've got something in your heart that it's weighing heavy, and you're like, man, I need you to pray for it, just share that need with us, and we'll believe with you. Prayer meetings is not a lot of pressure. Okay, we're not going to all surround you and scare you. It's just everyone praying in their own way, whether that's at their seat or at the altar, standing with their hands raised as they pray, or kneeling, or whatever each person feels led to do. So join us for prayer meeting tonight, even if you don't want to become a regular member of Truth Chapel, but you need some prayer tonight, or you want to pray for somebody else and you want us to help you pray for that somebody else, or goodness gracious, to pray for this country. America needs prayer. United States needs prayer. We keep hearing story after story after story about school shootings and tragedies across our land. We need prayer. Man, we need prayer. So come join us tonight for prayer meeting, or join us for one of our Sunday services, or really you can do both. I'd recommend both. But if you don't want to join us for prayer meeting, join us for one of our Sunday services this Sunday, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Both 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And that's every week, services at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. unless it snows or something. 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. every week. And then we also have Wednesday services at 7 p.m. And during our Wednesday services, we split everyone up by age. We have an adults class, a teen class, and a kids class. I have the privilege of teaching the teen class. And so if you have any teens in your family, I would love to have them join us for that every Wednesday at 7. Again, the address is 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we'd love to have you join us for a service, even if you can't bring a donation with you. If you just want to come to church just for the sake of coming to church, come on. No, listen, we don't charge admission at the door. We don't do that. We don't, shake you down, make you pay. We would love it if you bring a donation with you, either for the church or the radio station or both. And we can accept cash, card, firstborn child, I'm kidding, anything. Check, all of that we will accept here at Truth Chapel. But even if you don't have a gift to bring, as long as you come with a heart hungry for God, you are welcome at Truth Chapel. Excuse me. Regardless of your age, regardless of your race, you're welcome. I invited someone to our church the other day, and she said, is there something specific we need to wear? And I told her the truth. I said, well, I like to dress up, and I'll tell you this. If you visit us tonight, I'm not going to be all that dressed up, but if you visit on Sunday morning, I'll be wearing a suit. Most likely, unless something crazy happened. I'll be wearing a suit, probably a tie, and some other people in our church will also be dressed up like that. Most people in our church dress, a little bit nicer, so to speak, but that's not a requirement. The only thing that I would ask is that you come dressed modestly. I would ask no excessive showing of skin. Nothing that could cause a distraction, if you will. And I know, man, as soon as I say that, somebody's going to be like, oh, you perv, you're distracted. I'm not saying I'm going to be distracted, but I'm saying somebody could. So I would ask that you dress in a way that you think is befitting of a house of worship. But no, if you don't own a dress, you can still come to Truth Chapel. If you don't own a suit, you can still come to Truth Chapel. Now, if you own one, I'd say, why not wear it? A lot of us will be, but you don't have to. But I just throw that out there. Why not? But you don't have to have a certain set of clothes to come to Truth Chapel. You don't have to have, this and that, and I've got to make sure I got my dress and I got my 3-piece suit. No, you don't. Just come with what you have. I recommend dress in a way that to you feels befitting a house of worship. That's what church is. Church ain't just a coffee shop. Church ain't just a little get together. Church is a house of worship. So dress in a way that is befitting a house of worship, and that's all you got to do. You don't have to wear something super specific. We are not going to be measuring your dress length at the door. You don't, I would hope you come smelling nice, but if you just don't have any deodorant, oh Lord, oh my goodness. I hope you can come smelling nice, but if you can't, as long as you come hungry for the gospel. You see what I'm saying here? You're all welcome. You're all welcome. Old, young, male, female, all races, all classes. I don't care if you're wealthy, if you're broke, if you're homeless, if you're hungry for God, I want you to come. If you're hungry for God, we want to see you at Truth Chapel. And if you'll walk in a church hungry for God, and I'll walk in a church hungry for God, and we're all hungry for God together, there's just no telling what God is going to do. He said that if two would gather together in his name, he would be there in the midst of them. God is good, and I am believing he is going to send revival to Truth Chapel. I am believing he is going to send a move in these last days. We are planting seeds. I'm not trying to give glory to us for the seeds being planted, but I just believe that we are going to reap a harvest soon. And I want you to be a part of it. Now, you can be a part of what we're doing here on Sound of Truth Radio, even without attending Truth Chapel. And I want to be clear, we don't want donations only from those that attend Truth Chapel. I don't care if you go to a Baptist church, but if you support Sound of Truth Radio, send a donation. I know that I know we're a little bit different from you. I understand that. But if you, and look, if you don't feel good about sending a donation, if you feel like we disagree with you too much for you to put your money behind, that's respectable. Really, it is. It's respectable. If you say, you know what, I just think we're too different doctrinally, I don't fully agree with everything you teach, I can't send my money there. That is respectable. I would do the same thing if it was the other way around. So I respect that. But if you listen to this station, you listen to what we preach and teach and sing, and you say, you know what, that lines up with my heart. Maybe it's not exactly the way that your pastor preaches it, but you're like, you know what? I do think they're preaching the truth. I do think they've got the right heart, the right motivation, and I support their mission of taking the message of the cross to Spartanburg. Please consider sending a donation. Please consider sending a donation. We need it. We need it. We still need to raise about $1,000 this month for this month's bills. That's not including the $4,000 in deficit. That's not including the $1,500 in maintenance fees. That's not including what we might end up having to pay this month to replace our video computer. And I really hope we're not going to have to do that, because I just do not know how we're going to swing it. We are on the ropes financially. And I don't know how we're going to be able to do it. Not just the church, but even me personally. I don't even know. Man, I don't know how we were going to do that without your help. Without your help. So, the point I was trying to make, you don't have to go to Truth Chapel to support Sound of Truth Radio. You don't have to. Even if your church is another Pentecostal church, if your Church of God, Assemblies of God, Foursquare, Pentecostal Holiness, if it's a Baptist church, I don't care. As long as you agree with this message, you agree with the message of the cross that we preach and teach, and you want to invest in us, I invite you to give. I invite you to give. I invite you to not withhold. I'm trying to think the right way to put this, the right way to say this. I've got the feeling in my heart, but I don't really have the words in my head to explain it. I got the feeling in my heart, but not the words in my head. How about this? Even those of us who go to different churches, I think we can still at times work together for a greater cause. Now, I'm not going to work together with a church that ain't preaching the truth at all. A church that just straight up, there are churches they want to deny the very divinity of Jesus Christ. They want to deny that Jesus was even God. And I'm sorry, we don't fly with that. We don't roll with that. If that's the way you feel, I'm sorry, you're not going to want to donate to Sound of Truth Radio, because it's going to take like 2 seconds. You'll hear somebody on here mention Jesus being God, and you're going to wish you had your money back. So if that's the way you feel, you don't need to give. I'm just going to be real with you. Unless you just don't care, unless you like wasting your money. But if you agree with us on core points, and you agree with our mission of getting Spartanburg saved, even if you don't agree with us on everything, there's not a whole lot of radio stations like this one. And if you see that and you value that and you want us to stick around, please consider sending a donation. Now, I'm not asking for your tithe. I know some of you would say, well, I send my tithe to my church, and I understand that. I'm not asking for your tithe. I'm just asking for a donation, just like you would donate to Salvation Army. And I know we're not the same thing as Salvation Army, but just like you would donate to any other cause that you support, and you say, hey, let me just send them a quick donation. Or you might even say, let me make it a monthly donation of 20, monthly donation of 30 or 50. And I know that's a lot. That's a lot per month. I mean, I squirm if I see something that I'm interested in that costs $5 a month. So I totally understand. And also, listen, I want to say this as well. Also know this economy is bad. This economy is bad. I know it is. I know some people voted for Donald Trump hoping it would get better, and it hasn't. It really hasn't. I'm sorry. I voted for Donald Trump too, so I don't think I'm like, we should have voted for Kamala. You know, one person said if Dad gets behind the wheel of the car and he gets drunk and we get in a car wreck, and I say, man, Dad did a bad job driving tonight, he should not have been driving the car, that doesn't mean that I thought the family dog should have been behind the wheel. So don't think that me saying anything negative about Trump or about how things are going right now means that I wish Kamala Harris had won. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just acknowledging the reality. Amen. Let's be real. We're not going to be delusional. Let's acknowledge the reality. The economy is still rough. I guess it really has been since COVID. I mean, we've kind of had some reprieve here and there, and it's not like, I guess it's not Great Depression level, but I mean, it's rough. And right now with these gas prices, I understand it's pretty bad. You know, I know the economy is worse because I've noticed how much my tips have gone down this last month. And I mean, I'm making so little in tips, and not for the radio station. This is for my secular job. I have a part-time pizza delivery job because, you know, Sound of Truth Radio doesn't pay me. And most people are, I want to say most, maybe not most, but a lot, maybe I can say most people are not tipping anymore. And when I first started that job about 6 months ago, I made way more in tips on average every day than I am now. I mean, significantly more. My average has probably dropped like $20 a day of what I'm making on tips. So I know the economy's bad. It's bad for all of us. I get it. I get that you might not be in a position to give a certain amount every single month, but for those of you that can, again, I'm not asking for your tithe. I know that times are hard. I'm not asking for your life savings. I'm just, if there's anything you can do to help Sound of Truth Radio out. And I want to throw this out there. I also know that some of you are in a good financial position. Not everybody is. I know the economy is rough. Some people are on fixed incomes. I get it. But some of you do have some, I'm going to call it extra money to spare. Some of you could do a monthly donation of $200. I know that's not most people. I'm not saying most people can do that, but I think there's some of you that you could give $200 to Sound of Truth Radio, make it a monthly recurring donation, and either not miss it at all or only miss it a little bit. Not have to cut very much in order to make that $200 each month. I know that's not everyone. I understand. But I also feel pretty confident that it's some people. It is some people. I just want you to pray about it. I want you to consider the mission that we are on. We are preaching the cross to Spartanburg and beyond. And I want you, even if you go to a different church, even if you identify as Baptist, but if you agree with our mission, if you value this station and you don't want to see it go off the air, I humbly ask you to donate. If you're feeling led to donate today, you can do so by going to our website. Our website is WXPSFM.com. And because I know X and S sound pretty similar, that's WX as in X-ray, PS as in Sierra, FM.com. Click the donate button there. It takes you to our PayPal. You can give safely and securely. You may text the word give. Now, this is a text line only. Don't try calling this number. Just text the word give to 864-507-9382. Again, the number to text is 864-507-9382. Just start with the word give. You may also mail a check or a money order to Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. That mailing address is Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. Now make that check out to Truth Chapel, but if you could put on there that it's for Sound of Truth Radio, or send us a note or letter with your check. We appreciate that. Sometimes we get checks in the mail from people who we've never met, don't know who you are, but we see your name, we see your check, and we're very grateful for it. And then we kind of wonder, what's his story? What's her story? How do they find the station? Why are they sending in a donation? Now, if you don't want to tell your story, that's fine. It's not a requirement. You can just send the check if that's what you want to do. But we would love to get some testimonies from you. We'd love to hear from you, when you started listening, why you sent that donation. Why did you feel led to do that? And I'm glad you felt led. It's not an angry why, what's wrong with you? Why did you send? But it's I just want to know, what spurred you to do it? I'm glad you did it, but what spurred you to? And then, tell us which programming blesses you the most. Whose program you like? What songs bless you? We love hearing from our listeners like that. Again, you don't have to send a little testimony with your donation. You can just send the donation if that's what you want to do. But we would love it if you send some just info about who you are and why Sound of Truth Radio is a blessing to you. So again, the mailing address is P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. Make your check or money order out to Truth Chapel, but either put it on the memo line or send a note with the check to let us know that it's specifically for Radiothon and for Sound of Truth Radio. We don't want to mix up funds. We want to make sure all the money goes where it is supposed to go. So to Truth Chapel, but for Sound of Truth Radio or Radiothon. You can also visit us in person. We are located at 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg, South Carolina. That's 189 Hickory Hill Road in the Campcroft area of Spartanburg. We are located just a mile down the road from Croft State Park. I had somebody the other day tell me that he went to Croft State Park and they went out on the lake. And I said, yeah, I just live a couple miles from there. And I said, well, I live a couple miles from the entrance. If you've ever been to Croft State Park, it's deceitful because you see the sign. You see the sign saying Croft State Park, and you turn in, you get into the park, and then you got to drive. It's like another whole mile. You've got to drive a long, it's like the world's longest driveway to finally get to where they've got your walking trails or your lake or the place where they do horse shows to get to all of your stuff. It's a long little drive through there. So I'm pretty close to Croft State Park's entrance, and this church is pretty close to the entrance of the park. You access the park right off of 56, and that's Dairy Ridge Road that you get on before you turn into the park. So Hickory Hill Road it intersects with Dairy Ridge. It's towards the Southport Road side. So Dairy Ridge runs between Southport Road and 56, and Hickory Hill is closer to the Southport Road side, and it runs parallel with Southport, and it intersects with Dairy Ridge. So 189 Hickory Hill Road. If you don't know where it's at now, shoot us a message on Facebook and let me help you find it. Or most people, you have Google Maps, put it in there, 189 Hickory Hill Road. Just make sure it's set to 189 Hickory Hill Spartanburg. I think there might be another Hickory Hill in Lyman or something. We've heard some people say, GPS started taking me the wrong direction. Yeah, don't do that. It's 189 Hickory Hill Road in Spartanburg, in the Campcroft area. It's going to be near 56. It's going to be near Southport Road. It's going to be near Cedar Springs, Whitestone, near that area. That's where you're looking for the church. So we have service tonight at 7 p.m., just an hour away from prayer meeting. And then we have services Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 6 p.m. And we would love for you to come, bring a donation with you. But even if you don't have a donation to bring with you, just come on to church. Some of you have been looking for a church. Truth Chapel is the church that you are looking for. I'm going to tell you right now. Truth Chapel is a church. Ask people who come here or have come here. This is a church where you can learn. This is a church where you can grow. This is a church where you'll be challenged. This is a church where we'll preach the truth. We're not just going to tickle you. And understand, challenge. We will preach some things sometimes that make you a little bit mad. And I don't mean we just preach messages for the purpose of ticking you off. But I mean we preach the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. and we'll preach things that we'll preach messages that hopefully prompt a response from you, not just oh la la la, nice message, let me go home, but that message shows me how I need to change the way that I'm living. Let me live differently now. So we're a challenging church, but we're a loving church, and we could do so much more as a church if we had more people a part of our church family. So if you're looking for a new church, Truth Chapel is the one you're looking for. Come see us tonight at 7 or Sunday at 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. I've run out of time for this month's radiothon. I've got to go off the air because we do have prayer meeting in just an hour. So I've got to let the station get back to its regular programming, go home and have some supper with my family before I have to come back down to this very same building for prayer meeting. Before I do that, I've been informed of some new donations that have come in over the afternoon. I apologize that I did not get to announce these earlier, but just saw these come in. We've got $50 from Ryan and Jennifer. Thank you both very much for that. We got $20 from Justin. Thank you very much, Justin. We've got $100 from Chloe. Chloe, we thank you very much for that donation of $100. And we've got $15 from Faith. And Faith, we thank you so much for that donation. I am so grateful. That's 4 new donations come in, and our total was at $520. This will take our total to, I think, $705, if I did the math right in my head. So thank you so much to each one of you giving today. Y'all, we appreciate it. And I want to throw this out there, and I'm about to have to go, but every single one of those that I just named, they don't even live in Spartanburg. I'm not going to dox them and say where they all live, but these are people who listen online. They watch online, and they've been supporters of the station and the ministry for a while, and sending in some help this month. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. And I hope that doesn't sound sarcastic, because it's not. I'm just bad at expressing emotion, I guess. So I hope you can tell I'm sincere. Thank you. And I also want to use this to challenge our local folk. If people who live 700 miles away can send in $50, $100 to help Sound of Truth Radio, I hope that some of you that live 7 miles away will think about sending double. I hope you'll think about sending in 200, 300, 500. Oh, you're just greedy. Honey, I'm just trying to keep Sound of Truth Radio alive. I'm just trying to keep this station. You can call me greedy all you want. I'm just trying to keep this station on the air. This station was passed down to me from my dad, so to speak. It's not literally like it was in his will. Matthew gets a station. But he passed away, and ownership, it's owned by our church. The pastorship of our church moved to my mother, and so she also took over management of the station. But after about a year of doing it, she realized that she just did not have enough time in her schedule to homeschool her kids and pastor the church and manage the radio station and do all the background accounting and administrating stuff she was doing. It was too much, so she transitioned the station to my management. This has been passed down to me, and I'm determined to keep it alive. And I'm determined to keep I don't just want the station on just for the sake of there being another radio station. We don't need another radio station. I want to keep the gospel going on it. I want there to be some good preaching, some good teaching, some good singing on this station. And I want it to pierce the soul of Spartanburg. I'm out of time. I've run over. Help me out. WXPSFM.com. Click donate. Text the word give, G-I-V-E, give, to 864-507-9382, or you can mail a check or money order to Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. God bless you. We love you. Thank you to everybody who has given, and I hope some more of you will donate. I know I'm going off the air. You can still donate, and I'm going to hop back on tomorrow. Sorry, I'll be back tomorrow. You'll have to deal with me again. And when I come back tomorrow, I will announce the new donations that have come in over the night. So please send it in. Also, I know if you send a check or money order, we might not know about it for a little while. Take some time and get stuff in with the post office. You know how it is. But go ahead and send it. And once we get it, we'll add it to our total. So please send in some help and support. We love you. God bless you. Hopefully we'll see some of you tonight at prayer meeting at 7 p.m. or we'll see you Sunday at 10 a.m. or 6 p.m.
despair. Cause me to long for someone to care. Then I heard Christ say to me, this promise I've made. Lo, I am with you now and forever. Be not afraid. I'll never be lonely again. Never again. For I have opened my heart's door to Him. I'll brush away the tears and forget my foolish fears. Never be lonely again. Never again. If you're longing for a friend, loving and true, then turn to Jesus. He waits for you. You know He'll do the same for you as He has done for me and millions of others. He'll never leave you, never forsake you. Trust Him and see. I'll never be lonely again, never again. For I have opened my heart's door to Him. I'll brush away the tears, and I'll forget my foolish fears. I'll never be lonely again, never again. One more time, please. I'll never be lonely again, never again. For I have opened my tears, and I'll forget my foolish fears. I'll never